And is emotional intelligence only applied for? Could you please explain it? Give us some details. And they said to me, don't use the same language you use at work. We want to understand this whole essence of emotional intelligence. So today, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. Hold your seat, get your water, get your popcorn perhaps. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome, welcome once again. So quickly. Um, yes, we're grateful for life. We're grateful for health. And when I say health, it's about health in a holistic way. Physical health, psychological health, financial health. It's a holistic health that I'm talking about. Welcome to the nightcap program, the nightcap shining black hero tonight. Let me remind you that you can participate. I like when you participate, right? And I like when I hear It's my pleasure to be with you today. All right, so I had a little music thing going on. I like the music. Um, right. So, welcome to another episode of the Design to Inspire, the nightcap program right here on the Design to Inspire channel with your host, Charlene Clark. I had my music playing. You know, I like music, and I didn't realize that the music wasn't out. It's out now, so I hope you're hearing me clearly. Yes, yes, yes. Today, we discuss emotional intelligence, and of course, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. It's the same discussion we will be having, and it is about emotional intelligence. I have an article. I'll share the link where you can read the article on emotional intelligence. But I was asked to, have a real talk about emotional intelligence, minusing those professional words, bring it real, bring it to the audience, the readers, and know the listeners in a real way, so we can understand what emotional intelligence really is. So today we'll talk about that. And before I begin, I want to remind you that you can participate in today's show by WhatsApp, via WhatsApp call 1-876-367-0127. I like to hear your voice, and I'm sure that my viewers also like to hear the voices of those who want to participate. You don't need to be afraid. Yes, yes, you all sound wonderful. Yes. Now, if you choose to participate via text, you can also WhatsApp me on the same number, 1-876-367-0127. Or perhaps you want to use the chat box here, right here on YouTube, and participate as well. Welcome to the Nightcap Show. Let's begin. So, emotional intelligence, it's something that I've written about more than once, and like I said, I'll share the link to one of my articles on the topic with you right here in the chat box, right? So just stay tight, I will share it. Now, we speak about emotionally, really and truly, to bring it to make it more understandable, and I'm going to say it like this: emotional intelligence is really managing your emotions in such a way that when you are not angry, concerned about the situation that would have you acting in a particular way, you're still pleased with yourself. Do you understand that? So, in essence, if you are in a situation that can perhaps be frustrating, that would challenge your ability in terms of your patience, your tolerance, your action during that moment should be so controlled that when that moment, because you're not going to be in that moment forever, right? It's a situation. And when that situation passes, if you should look back at yourself during that situation, you're still pleased with yourself. In truth and in fact, that's really what it is. Controlling your emotions. In essence, if you're arguing, the words that you use, you control the type of words you use, you control the things you say, you control what you do. In Jamaica, we say that people normally act and then ask questions after. And this happens when we are so angry that we're not thinking clearly about our actions. And so because of the anger, the situation, the frustration that we're faced with, our actions supersede our ability to think logically. And so in that essence, we would do and say some things that would further cause some problems, various different types of problems. And then after the situation passes, then we would sit down and, do some self-retrospection and say introspection and say, well, shouldn't have done it that way. So the emotional intelligence would eliminate us from saying, I shouldn't have done it that way, because we would have been able to control our emotions during the situation without having any regrets after the situation passed. And that's emotional intelligence. Yes, in a nutshell. Why is emotional intelligence important? And I was also asked, is it only applicable for the workspace? No, answer the first question. And remember, let me put this out there. Remember that we're discussing based on our opinions. I have not done any particular type of survey except from observation and even experience, but it's our opinion. My opinion is my opinion. It's not factual. Your opinion is your opinion. It's not factual. If you share a different opinion, please participate. Again, 1-876-367-0127 via WhatsApp, and we can have that discourse. Yes, we will respect your opinion as much as you respect mine. Why is emotional intelligence important? And not just for the workspace. No, let me answer the question. No, it is not just for the workspace, and I will explain why further. But why is it important? It is important for us to control our emotions, because when we act based on our emotions, most times than not, we end up doing the wrong things. Yes, we end up saying the wrong things. We end up making the wrong decisions. And when that situation passes, we now become more logical in our thoughts. We now become more sensible, so to speak, in how we now look at the situation and evaluate the situation. It is important to control our emotions, because when our emotions are high, there are times when we say some things we really don't mean. And when we say and do some things that we really don't mean, it's because of what we're faced with. Those persons who were a part of that situation, or who would have been in that situation with us, and we are now being angry, with them, we're now acting in a particular way to harm them. We can't turn back the hands of time for them. In essence, sorry is just sorry. I am sorry is just sorry. Sometimes, and let me go to the drastic route. I am sorry to someone who, you're saying I'm sorry to someone who you would have caused great pain, because that person would have lost a loved one. It cannot bring back the life of that person. You're saying sorry to a family member whom you'd have caused great pain because of the things that you said. You cannot undo what you said. Sorry is just that, And sometimes, to include me, viewers, sometimes when we say we're sorry, after saying some things and doing some things out of, emotions, at that point, when we're saying we're sorry, the person who you're apologizing to, they don't believe. They would say, yes, I accept your apology, but then they're going to say, well, perhaps this is something you wanted to tell me for a long time, and you were just waiting for the opportune time. And now you use this situation to onslaught your negative, comments and, whatever else that your emotions, propelled you into doing. And so that cannot be taken back. Yes? Emotional intelligence is important at work, because these emotions that we tend to allow to take over our thoughts or actions can determine our longevity at the workplace. Will determine the type of relationship we have at the workplace. Will determine whether or not, we are seen as a valuable asset to the workplace. Yes, it is important to control your emotions at the workplace, because at the workplace you are put in a situation to operate professionally. Here is where the problem lies, though. I'm already getting some messages. Here is where the problem lies, though, viewers, listeners. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome to one and all in the building. Yes. The building is your building. Yes, wherever you're viewing from. Welcome. Here is a problem where that is concerned. At the workplace, many of us confuse friendship with acquaintances, with co-workers, you know. And because it is human nature to share information, to, behave a particular way with other persons, we tend to confuse, the lines are blurred. In addition to that, at the workplace, some of us form, intimate relationships. Yes? And so, with all of those things happening within the workspace, you find where emotions are harder to control. It is harder for people to be emotionally intelligent when they have crossed the line. What am I saying? So you have a friend, or what? You have an acquaintance at work, and you believe this person is your friend. You hear some things, yes. You hear some things that the friend, believe that you should not be participating in, or perhaps you get a promotion and you heard that your friend wasn't satisfied that you were the one who was selected for the position, and of course this is your friend because you believe that this person is your friend. And so you decide to approach the person at the workplace, and your emotions took the best of you. You're not thinking logically. All you're thinking is, how could he say this? How could she believe this? This is a person I believe was my true friend, and I cannot believe that he said this about me, or she said this about me, and I cannot believe, and this and that. I'm going to let her know how I feel, and this and that. And you forget completely, totally that you are at the workplace. And those emotions cause you to say and do some things that would defame your character forever at the workplace. Despite you saying sorry after the fact, your character would be defamed completely. So it's important to manage your emotions at the workplace so that you remain the professional person you ought to remain while you're in the workspace. Now, the workplace is not a social gathering ground. And this is what I tell many of my acquaintances, many of my colleagues. It's not a social gathering ground. Yes? But we tend to use it like that because, this is where people are forming relationships. And when I say relationships, I'm not just talking one type. I'm talking various types of relationships. And because we're forming various types of relationships, and you will feel a particular way for one individual as opposed to another person, you become deeper and deeper. Depends on the type of feelings that you have for the persons whom you're interacting with. I hope I haven't lost you. Now, once you are employed with an organization, the first thing that you must embrace is this. Even if I have my mother, father, wife, husband, girlfriend, sister, brother working at that particular organization, I must understand that once we are there from 8 to 5 or whatever the period is, that individual is a co-worker. It is not easy, listeners, viewers. It is absolutely not easy. It comes with practice. I can tell you that. It comes with practice. Once you begin to practice that, and you understand that, listen, while we're at work, I understand that you are my co-worker, and I must behave a particular way while I'm at work alongside you. You will be better able at dealing with work situations. When you're not able to deal with work situation is when you're not able to understand that work is different from home, is different from church, is different from party. And since we're forming various types of relationship at work, it means therefore then we have to put ourselves in the mindset that, listen, once we step outside of home or wherever our social space is and we're together at work, then I must behave in this particular way while I'm at work. I must separate work situation from home situation. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that an individual should leave I mean, coming to work, it means that they're a total different individual. And so if they're going through issues at work, at home, it means that it cannot affect them at work. I'm not saying that, because that is a different discussion. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, once you get to work, and since we're forming and bonding in a different way, we have to understand that, listen, this is a workspace. So if you say something to me that is work related, I should not be so upset that I'm going to allow my actions and also how I interact with you defame my character. Yes? It's a professional space. And so this is what I do. This is what I practice. And I tell my colleagues that, listen, when you dress for work in daily, just as how you don't forget to put on your shoe, don't forget to put on your mask. Yes, it's an invisible mask I'm talking about. So don't forget to put on your mask. Because at work, you wear a mask. You have to. I'm not talking about being a hypocrite. I'm not talking about pretending. I'm talking about that mask where you understand that, certain lines, there are boundaries. And you have to stay within those boundaries in order to remain a professional. Listen, when you're at home, you're not a professional. Yes? When you're at home, you're not speaking the same language you speak when you're at work. You speak a different language. When you're at home, you don't have a professional, you don't even eat the same way when you're at home. No. So what I'm saying is not that you should be hypocrites. What I'm saying is that you wear your mask because you have to ensure that you operate in a professional space, because you are a professional within a certain time. No. It extends beyond that for persons like myself who are entrepreneurs. And what do I mean by that? Listen, let me share something with you. If there are moments when, even I'm driving to a venue to, perform a certain task or duty. Well, last week, or I believe the week before, it was a very hectic week for me. I had back to back graduation ceremonies, and I was a guest speaking at some of those ceremonies. And of course, I have a full-time job, and I found myself being tired. On my way to one of the ceremony, I was so tired, and when I'm driving, what wakes me up is music, reggae, deep core reggae music. I'm not talking about those music that defame women and talk, but I'm talking about nice deep reggae. I'm not even talking about Bob Marley. I can tell you, perhaps a Vibes Cartel, but not those that are defaming women. And so I was playing a reggae music, and turn up the music in the car, and on my way to the venue, and then I was like, oh no, I can't do this. I mean, what if, on my way at the stoplight, someone, see me and say, oh, it's you. I would like you to, because people do that. I'd like you to come to my function or give me a card and whatnot. But then the music that I'm playing and the volume of the music is not professional. Yes. The volume of, and you know what I had to do? I had to turn down the volume a little bit, and then I brought my windows up because the vehicle is heavily tinted. So I wind up the windows, turn down the music a little bit, and continue on my journey, because I have to think like that. So it extends beyond the workplace for those persons who are doing other things in terms of how you control your emotions and the things you do in your space. So I said that to say this: you have to wear a mask. You have to wear that mask that will sustain your character and your professional conduct. We want to believe that I'm an adult. I should be able to do anything I want to do as long as I'm not at the workplace, or as long as I'm not carrying out a particular function. If you are that type of person, you offer different types of service. But it doesn't exist. No. We should always be conscious of the things that we do and the things that we say if we are a true professional. And so once we understand the whole essence of mask wearing, then it makes it a little bit easier for us to control our emotions. You will be in listen, we are different, we think differently, we have different values, different morals, we have different ideas, and because we are all different, that is why you will have conflicts. You will always have conflicts. And so, because of that, you have to first understand that, listen, I will have to deal with an individual who will think differently and operate differently from I do. And as such, I have to put myself in that space where I do not become too emotional if they are not in agreement with me, or if they might say something that hurt my feelings. And on the topic of hurting feelings, do not be so emotional that the least of the least hurt your feelings. I say to individuals at work, well, not at work, but colleagues of mine who will ask, and I've been asked many a times, how do you do it? They say so many things about you that is not nice, and still you smile, still you have this professional approach, still you engage. How do you do it? And this is how I do it. Well, I won't tell you, everything, but first you understand that at work, the people you work with are your co-workers, not your friends. And when I say friends, I mean like family friends. I am sorry, you will find, listen, it is not cast in stones. It is not cast in stones, but you will find individuals at work who have genuine feelings and ideas and, emotions for you, and you can become friends. But viewers, it is rare. It is rare. If you have an individual at work where you believe they are friends, at the drop of a dime, if they have to place you under the bus to get a promotion, they're going to do so as quickly as you can say 1, 2, 3. At the drop of a dime, if they have to put you in under the bus or defame you so that they seem more important, they are going to do that. Like I said, it is not cast in stones. I am not saying that you cannot find good work relationships and good friendship at work. You can. But again, it is rare. It is rare. And so to practice proper emotional intelligence, the first thing you have to come to understand that the people you work with are not your friends. They are your co-workers. And so if I'm working with someone who is not my friend, they are my co-workers. It means, therefore, if they are angry about any situation at work, I should not be so emotional that I'm going to lose my character in my response or my action towards them. That is reserved for friends and families. Yes? Let me hear from you. I'm not seeing any comments. I'm not seeing, well, I got one here. What are your views? How do you practice emotional intelligence? How do you handle your emotions at work when you are, called out, some people call it? How do you handle your emotions at work when you know persons are smiling with you, but behind you they are your worst enemy? How do you handle your emotions? Yes, it is important to do so. Is it only applicable to the workspace? No. No. Emotional intelligence, it is coined for the workplace the way it is, defined, the way it is presented, but it's not only applicable to the workplace, because if we are able to control our emotions outside of the workplace, many of us would not have lost so many good relationships that we have lost. Many of us would not have reacted right? In the way that we would have reacted that would cause grave pain to others. Many of us would be better able at understanding that people will not always agree with us and people will not always do the right things by us. Let me read a paragraph somewhat from my article. And it says, I will put the link, I promise I will share the link to the article with you. It says, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is a way to manage your emotions, your feelings, and thoughts while molding them according to the situation. Yes? Moreover, emotional control is also known as an art that every individual should practice. Yes? An art that you should practice. It helps human beings practice skills like self-regulation, empathy, social skills, self-awareness, and motivation. So it is something that you have to practice. How can you become emotionally intelligent? You can become emotionally intelligent while improving self-assessment and finding the exact way to manage your feelings. Again, you have to learn how to manage your feelings. You should work on your competencies. You should practice emotional control. You should identify your feelings. You should examine your decision and ask for feedback. Now, one would say, how can I examine my decision? Welcome, Janelle. How can I manage my decision? How can I manage my decision while in the heat of the moment I am angry? How can I manage my decision? Again, it is an art. Emotional intelligence is an art that you have to practice. With all that being said, it means therefore that it cannot just be applicable to work. It's applicable for life. If we are able to manage our emotions, how beautiful we all would be. Do I manage my emotions well? Yes, I believe I do so. If there is anyone in the that are viewing right now who knows me well, do I have friends and family viewing who knows me well? You can comment whether or not I'm able to manage my emotions. But because I think persons will comment, but there are moments when, well, before I say that, let me say this. Managing your emotions does not mean that you need to be mute. Managing your emotions does not mean that it is not a replacement for assertiveness. You need to be assertive, but you don't need to be rude. You don't need to say some things. Think about you. When you're angry, think about you. Don't think about the situation and the person who made you angry. Think about you. When you think about you, think about things like, well, if I say this, how would it affect me? If I do this, how would it? So when you are angry, be selfish. This is the only time I'm going to say be selfish, because I want you to understand what it means to be emotional intelligence. So I'm using some words here and I'm using some examples here to let you understand what it really means. It's a word that sounds so pretty, so beautiful, so, professional, but it's simple. So when you're angry, in order to control your emotions, be selfish. How do you be selfish? Think about you. Don't think about the individual for a moment, because when you're angry, you really don't think about the individual. You don't think about the individual. You don't think about you. When you're angry, you think about the situation and how you want to show the individual how angry you are, and so you're going to react. Let's switch it. So when you're angry, think about you. Here's what I'm saying now. Be selfish. Think about you in the moment when you're angry. How will I be affected by my reactions now? If I do this, will it affect me in the workspace or even in my social space? How will it affect me? If I say this, will it affect me in my workspace or my social space? How will it affect me? And if you find that it's going to affect you, then it means that you don't respond, you don't react in that way. So be selfish when you are angry by thinking about you and how your actions or, the words that you will speak out of anger will affect you. That's the only time I'm going to say selfishness I will appreciate. Because by you doing that, it means therefore that the individual on the other end or the situation that you have to respond to you will now be able to do so logically, in terms of thinking logically and providing a response that will bring forth a solution rather than create more problems. How do you manage your emotions? What is emotional intelligence to you? What does it mean? Have you ever been placed in a situation where you are not able to control your emotions? What do you do in situations like those? Again, my advice, be selfish in situations like those. Yes? Think about you first. What will happen? What will the result of this be for you? And if the result is not going to bring forth a workable solution, it means therefore your action should be changed. Your words should be rephrased. And you do so. So when I say, think about the action, how to be emotionally intelligent, you need to think about your action. I am not saying that it is something that is huge where you have to say, okay, I am angry now and I am about, all right, for example, you are at work, you receive an email, and let me tell you, listeners and viewers, your temperament, it can be read too. Yes, an email can be sent, and it's easy for someone, the person on the receiving end can get from your email that, listen, this person is angry. Yes, you get an email, and let me use it in the workspace. Yes, you receive an email, and the email is, after receiving that email, and it changed your day. Well, as a matter of fact, it turned your day upside down. You're angry. You're exhaling fire. Yes, and you now begin to type your response. Believe me, more times than not, once you hit send, the response is always harsh, always rude, always condescending, always, right? Now, if you receive such email and you read the email and you breathe for a little and you say, you know what? I'm upset about what this email is saying. I'm upset about what this individual is saying. And you relax for a moment and you think, forget the email, continue with your duties, continue with something else, forget the email. And you pay the email no mind for that moment in time. And further, you decide to respond because the person is waiting for a response. I guarantee you that the response is different from when you would have responded immediately out of anger. I've tried it many times. So it's just some simple things that we need to do to practice our emotional intelligence. Just some simple things. If you're at home, like I said, it's not just applicable for work. If you're at home and something went wrong, think about it. Before you move into action. How could you do this? You're the stupidest person ever. I hate you. Get out of my sight. No, think about it. And I'm going to say this. That is why it is important for us to love people and like things. Many times we use the word love. Oh God, I love that shoes. I love my car. I love this office. I love this show. Yes, I love this show. I love this show, but I hate the host. Right? But we love things unlike people. Flip it, switch it around. Begin to like things and love people. And once you practice loving things, stop saying you love these material things. You can't love material things. You like them, yes. But stop saying that and invest your love into people. Then our behavior and interaction with people will be different. The way you interact with your friends is different from how you interact with your co-workers. But because some of us believe that our friends are at work, we interact with our co-workers as though we're interacting with our friends. And the workplace is where you find the highest level of hypocrisy. Highest level of hypocrisy. Even those who might smile with you and, take you fruit every day, doesn't mean that that person is your friend. You have to understand the fundamentals of the workspace. We are all there because we want the next best thing for us. Many persons will not be genuine to allow you to get the next best thing when they can, be hypocrites and receive it instead of you. So stop confusing friendship with, your co-workers. Stop confusing friendship with acquaintances. Now, if you do truly found friends at work, hats off to you, because it does happen, but not frequently. Yes? Practice your emotional intelligence at home, in your own space. When I say at home, let me not say at home, but in your own space, where now these persons whom you're surrounded by are truly families and friends. If they did something, say something that would cause you to be upset, practice how you would respond to these individuals, because nothing comes easy, especially when it's habitual. It will take a lot for us to break ourselves out of that mold, because we mold ourselves this way, and it's going to take us a lot to break free from it. So you will have to practice it. So begin to practice in your social space. People will always say things to hurt you. Yes, people will always do things to hurt you. Some intentionally, some not intentional, but things will always be done in a way where it will not be your liking, based on your liking, and that's fine, because we're different. But practice how you respond or not respond. But practice emotional intelligence in your social space, and then it will become easier for you to do so at the workplace, because it is harder for you to practice emotional intelligence in your social space, because in your social space you're surrounded by those people who means the most to you. So if you can practice to hold back that type of feeling where you understand what I mean. Yes? And you can practice that with your sister. You can practice that with your husband or wife or girlfriend. You can practice that with your true friend. Then it's a walk in the park at the workplace, because at the workplace it's a different set of people you're surrounded by. These are not the persons who can get you going. These are persons who you work with. So if you can practice it with those people who you truly genuinely love, then it becomes easier. Walk in the park when you're at the workplace. I've seen situations where at the workplace people fighting over work, like literally fighting over work. How? And at the end of the day, both individuals lose their jobs. No, that don't make no sense. That don't make it. That don't make it. There's a song like that. Yes, I'm not about to sing. That's why I talk. Because I can't sing. They lose their jobs. Fight at work because of whatever reason. I need this resource, you're using it, I need it now, you don't want to give it to me, and then that turn into a big fight, a big fuss, and then the fuss turn into a physical fight, and then the physical fight turns into termination. Not make it. And most of the times when we are angry at work, it's because of work situation. Why are you going to be frustrated? Why are you going to be stressed? Why are you going to lose your job over work? And then tomorrow the work still exists. No make it. No make no sense. So that is why we need to and then not only that. At the end of the day, you lose some stripes when it comes to respect. People no respect you no more because no, you show your true colors. Well, I don't even know if I should say true colors, but you show a color what I've never seen before. Yes? No, you're saying you are using some language that they didn't even know you knew. Now you're saying some things that they didn't even know you knew. And now you're doing some things that they didn't even know you could do, and they're not positive. And so, even if you remain in the workspace, you're going to be looked at differently because it's never going to be forgotten. Believe me, it's never going to be forgotten. So, if you can practice emotional intelligence among those persons, you see, this is someone once asked me, many times I'm asked, but I respond to someone once in this way. Welcome, Kirk, Mark, Lena, hi, welcome. I respond to someone once this way. I said, just remember that when you lose respect, it is hard to regain it. When you do not practice emotional intelligence, it means, therefore, that you are going to one day lose respect. When you lose respect and you try to regain it, you have to work harder because people will always remember what you do and what you say in the moment when you are angry. So be cognizant of that. Be aware of that. Never you cause a situation to have you lose that respect that you've worked so hard for. And I mean, when I say work so hard for, you present yourself in a way where people will respect you. It's not that you're going to walk in a space and say, respect me, respect me. No, you don't beg, you don't ask for respect. Respect comes based on how you present yourself, the things you do, the things you say. Matters not the situation you're in. Consistency. So if you're in a situation that is beautiful, filled with butterflies and roses, you respond and you behave just the same if you are in a situation that is filled with thorns. So respect begets respect as well. So you respect others, others will respect you. Now, if you lose that respect based on actions and the things you say, people will always remember that, and their words will be, boy, I didn't know that she could behave like that, I saw him could have behaved, and look how him going like him a big respectable man. You know what I'm talking about. And it makes no practical sense. In addition to that, look around you for a little bit. Look and see the things that are happening. And though we're talking about emotional intelligence, and when we say emotional intelligence, immediately we think about work. But like I said, it's not just applicable for the workspace. Look around what is happening. Now, if we begin to practice how to control our emotions, so many people would not have lost their lives. So many children would not have to grow alone with the father or the mother. You'd still have your nuclear family. So many relationships would not have been ended. So many poor decisions would not be made. That's just simply it, Ego and the inability to practice emotional intelligence. Think about it. No, seriously, I'm just thinking about it. Think about it. If we all practice this emotional intelligence that we get paid, because I'm paid to go and do training on emotional intelligence. And if we all practice this thing that is called emotional intelligence in a holistic way, meaning that when we hear of it, we're not just thinking for the workspace, we're thinking of any space. You can imagine what this world would be? Because all that we do is based on our emotions. We're reacting because of a situation that prompted that reaction, or a reaction, not that reaction, a reaction. So it prompted a reaction, and we decide to react that way because we're unable to practice emotional intelligence because of our ego, our power, our title, or whatever it is. But if we regress a little and we decide that, listen, all right, let me look at the situation. Who is going to be affected? What will happen? If we become a little bit selfless outside of ourselves, you can imagine what this world would look like. So that is emotional intelligence for you. I've gone over my hour, and I just want to wrap up that way. That is emotional intelligence. So the next time you hear the term emotional intelligence, what it really means is for you to control your emotions in such a way where you are still able to react to the situation, but you react to the situation in an amicable way where it will not cause harm to you or the individual, right? You still maintain your importance, your respect, your sanity, and you still maintain relationships. You don't have to lose relationships when you're angry. No, you don't. You don't. And if you do have to separate from someone because of what they did, you don't have to be rude, discourteous, and you don't have to. You can separate from an individual. And when I say separate, again, I don't want you to think I'm talking just about intimate relationship. You can have a friend and you realize that the friendship is not genuine, and you decide that you want to separate. You don't have to find a reason to fight and to be rude to separate from that person. You don't. You can separate in a way where you still can have discussion with the person. You still can be, civil with the person. You don't have to be rude. So let us begin to practice our emotional intelligence in a way where we still can maintain good relationships, whether it is working relationships or in our social space. But we are still able to maintain good relationships, and our action will not cause more problems in relation to the situation. Yes? Okay, so we have come to the end of today's show. I want to share with you I will share, like I said, I will share with you the link the link to the article that I wrote on emotional intelligence. You may go and read. But for now, this is it. I want to say thank you so very much for listening. Of course, please share the links, share the information so that we can all become aware. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed and you like the show, I'm not saying that you should subscribe because I'm just asking you to. If you like the show and you've not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And most importantly, hit that notification bell so that when we have our live shows or there is a new upload, you will be notified so you don't miss it. So share, comment, share your opinion, and let us continue our discussions. Thank you for making it the Nightcap program right here on Design to Inspire with your host, Charlene Clark Cure. And this is how I leave you, by saying, be inspired.